Hey guys, what's up here today? This is your man King Viper 199 back here, ladies and gentlemen. And today, guys, I've got yet again another IndyCar Series 2005 car setup video. We are here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and this is a very quick car setup that I will be showing you guys here today. I will show it to you guys by proof of evidence, how fast to run. I do about 236s or 238 mile an hour on this. Now, people may tell me, that's a fucking nuts time. How the fuck is the car set up? Well, this setup here is scratched from none other than myself. I did this myself with a combination of several tinkering. It took me forever to get this car set up right. But today, guys, we're going to be jumping right into this car setup, and I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how I've had this car set up for. So we'll jump straight into the video. Right, so as we're getting here for the qualifying car setup here, as you can see, I already have my racing conversion here set up. Now, I do apologize, but I haven't been putting in the descriptions for cars, for stuff like IndyCar Series 2005 Nazareth car setup. I do apologize for that, but I haven't put the descriptions with the video IndyCar Series, the track and setup. I'm very sorry about that. Ignore my stuttering. I have a little bit of trouble talking there, so just ignore my stuttering there. So as we get in here into the qualifying setup, the qualifying and the race setup here is very different. Just about here with the ride height, for these people here that does not know in millimeters here in the ride height, this is because I'm from Australia, and over here we use the metric measurement system. So when the game was licensed and released out over here in Australia, it meant by that they made the game that so that the measurement system is the metric, and you guys are using the imperial, so the ride height would be, say, in 2.8 or 3.1 or something like that. So what I'm going to be doing here, guys, is I'm going to leave the ride heights for qualifying and race in the description below, or in the comments down the section below. I'll either leave it in the description or in the comments, so that you guys that need that ride height for qualifying and race, I'll leave that down in the section below. If you need any questions regarding the car setup, just message me through YouTube, or message me with Google Plus, or however you message through YouTube, and I'll get back to you doing that. Right, so as we get in here to the qualifying car setup first, this is what you call a very fast car setup. Now, it is very important here to get most of the stuff right. We've got the tyre pressure. Now, the front left is at 35 and the front right is at 39. Now, that's slightly more higher at the front right than the front left, so make sure to take that in note, because the qualifying setup, like I've said in the previous videos, you want to set it in short term in mind. You want the car to be going as fast as it can for 3 or 4 laps, going absolutely flat out as quick as you want it to go. So take that in mind. Your rear left is at 41 and your rear right is at 49. Now, as we get in here to the springs, also taking note that the front left is at 55 and the front right is at 55. Also take those into note. And your front left is at and your rear left is at 75 and your rear right is at 75. Now, also take this in note that this car setup is running so low that you will utterly be seeing sparks flying under tray when we are doing the qualifying run. That is because this setup is extremely quick to be built in the corners. It is handleable, I guarantee you that 100%, and I'll talk you guys through it in the race, because it is very important to get the qualifying right and the handling right of this car set up for maximum speed at this track, because you're just going so flat out that you just want to basically set to go as fast as it can. Right, now your damp is here, your front left is at 40-35, and your front right is at 40-35. And then your rear left is at 60-45, and your rear right is at 60/45. Also take that in note, because the springs and dampers and that, those need to correspond correctly so that the car itself, with the very low ride height that you're running, that will they'll also correspond to how the car works. Now, as we get here into the ride height, the front left is at 35 and the front right is at 37. Now, the rear left is at 35 and the rear right is at 37. I will read out the measurements in Imperial for you right now. The front left is at 1.3. So the front left is at 1.3. The front right is at 1.5. So the front right here is at 1.5. The rear left is at 1.3, and the rear right is at 1.5. So if you got that, that is 1.3, 1.5, 1.3, and 1.5 for the rear right. That is in Imperial measurement systems. That will work. It will work. It is American, so yeah, it is an American game after all. I'm just running this game here in Australia, just doing videos here from Australia for you. Now, the gears here is very, very important in qualifying, because the ratios are so long. You don't have to worry about the top speed of a car. It will top out in qualifying and in race. Take that in note. This gear is mainly a long ratio 5-speed car setup for qualifying, so that you're topping out at 5th gear and you're not having to shift into 6th. So if you're running automatic or manual, it doesn't really matter. So it doesn't really matter, but 5th and 5th gear is generally to make it so it tops out and that, and it ratios out as long as it can, especially with automatic transmission. It's a preferable choice of whether or not, if you're lazy enough to run auto, or if you just want to run manual. Preferably, I like to prefer auto at most tracks, because it's a lot easier to handle the car. Otherwise, it's just too much work with all the finger twisting and shit you got to do. Right, so your first gear is at 81, 2 is at 135, 3 is at 189, 4 is at 219, 5th is at 245, and 6 is at 250. Now, your camber here, very important as well. It is completely different to the others. Well, it is completely different to other most, or slightly similar in how the camber is set. The front left is at 0.3. The front right is at minus 0.6. The rear left is at minus 0.3, and the rear right is at minus 0.6. So the rear right there is at minus 0.6. Take that in note as well. Now, the towing here is the front left 0.2 and the front right minus 0.2. Very little has to be used here with the towing, especially on super speedways like these. Now, the wings here is at 0 for qualifying, 0 for qualifying, and minus 4 in the rear. And the reason why the rear is set so low like that at minus 4 is because you're running so flat out on this track that when you are basically going, you do not have to worry about it. The wings are so low, set to the point where you'll get absolute maximum top speed in the straights. You will not lose any corner speed, I guarantee you that, as long as you know how much speed to carry into the car, into the corners, and you know when to lift on and when to lift off, and it is totally fine. Now, as we get here into the race setup, like I said, slightly more different, more higher tyre pressures for the race, slightly more different. So the front left is at 35, the front right is at 39, the rear left is at 41, and the rear right is at 49. So those are your tyre pressures for the race setup: 35, 39, 41, and 49. Now, your spring setup here is slightly more different. Your front left is at 60 and your front right is at 60. Your rear left is at 75 and your rear right is at 75. Now, your dampers here is 53, 53 all across the board. totally flat all across the board, 53, 53. Like I said, it is completely different for the racing setup. Make sure to get this a note because this is very important in the race to get optimum ride height and springs and dampers for the race. Now your ride height here, front left is at 55, front right is at 60. Rear left is at 55 and rear right is at 60. Now I'll read out those ride heights in Imperial for you. The front left is at 2.2, so your front left is at 2.2. Your front right is at 2.4. Your rear left is at 2.2, and your rear right is at 2.4. So 2.2, 2.4, 2.2, 2.4. The gears are slightly different here for the race, more set back, so you get more of that extra back marker drifting in the back section of the track and that. So your first gear is at 81, gear 2 is at 142, gear 3 is at 189, gear 4 is at 218, gear 5 is at 238, and gear 6 is at 250. So also take that in note that is very important as well, because the reason why it's topped out at 250 is when you get into the draft and these guys in the back straightaways, the car is going so goddamn fast that you just need that extra speed. And make sure to be careful on the main straightaway when you get right up in that draft, because you're going to get very, very, very high top speed. Right, camber is about the same, 0.3 at the front left, minus 0.6 at the front right, 0.3 at the rear left, and minus 0.6 at the rear right. So also take that in note, but those cambers and that have to be set up right so that you get those right there for the race. Now the toe in, once again, is at 0.2, and your front right is at minus 0.2. Make sure to get those right. Now your wings here is exactly the same. It's 0 and minus 4. Now I will explain a difference when we get into the main pit thing, when you're on the track and that, when you're on the pits things and that, I will explain the difference on the wings there, because there are slightly different wing settings that you have to do with the wing. On the front wing you have to adjust it down a little bit for qualifying and adjust it up a little bit for the race. So I will also explain that. So we've done the qualifying and we've done the race setup. I'll just give you guys a quick look through again. This is qualifying, that's your pressure, that's your springs, that's your dampers, that's your ride height. That's your gears, that's your camber, that's your toe in, and that is your wings. Now, your race setup, that's your pressure, that's your springs, that's your dampers, and that's your ride height. That's your gears, that's your camber, that's your toe in, and that's your race. So if you need to have a look at these, be more than free to go back and look in the video for it. Right, now as we're going to get in here to the car thing, taking note in self that when you are running the car in qualifying, you want to adjust the front wing. You want to have that at minus 0.50. all right, you want that at minus 0.50 in qualifying. Basically it's set at 0, but you want it at minus 0.50 for qualifying, so that you get the maximum top speed, and the wing is set down slightly a little bit. And the racing setup, basically the race and that wings at the racing, you can have it at minus 0.2 to get slightly more top speed, or have it at 0 for the race, right? So minus 0.50 for qualifying and 0 for the race, right? So that's it for that. Right, so since we're going to run through the qualifying here, I might as well make this a 10-lap race to cut the video short, because I don't want to make this video 41 minutes long like I did in the last race for you guys, which was just absolutely bloody damn well ridiculous, I'll tell you. That was damn well ridiculous. I mean, that's because I was also doing some laps and I was running you guys through the Nazareth setup. Right, so as we go here into the race, we're as fuel in the Dry and Raybold machine with Sarah Fisher. Now, as you can see here, the AI, I do have automatic AI adjust off. that is in your advanced game options where you go to adjust your transmission. The AI is turned off here. So we're going to load the car up for about 6 or 7 laps of fuel. I think I'll put it in for 8 laps because you burn through the fuel very, very quickly here. The weight jacker, I will run you guys through the weight jacker as well here, what you want the weight jacker set at here. It's all down to a choice. There are 2 different weight jacker preferable options that I'd recommend. You want it all the way up at +8. You either want it all the way up at +8 or you want it all the way, yeah, and then there's the second option. Now, you want to crank your fuel mix up here as soon as you get into it. So you want to crank that up. Now, you can either have your weight jacker all the way up or you can have it down at -6. So you take it down 6 notches down. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I usually have it 6 notches down because it generally gives you more top speed at the front end of the car, and it generally helps you out a lot. Now this car setup is very, very fast here. This isn't a default car setup. This is a Pro Tune car setup by King Viper himself here. This is a very, very quick car setup. Very first time that I've really ever done this for YouTube. So I hope you guys enjoy this ride along here. And as we're coming down here to the main back straight, you can see here we're getting 240 mile an hour, 242. As you see here, and you see how fast the car setup is going. It is currently, we're doing about 235 here. Let me just turn up the volume here for you guys a little bit. As you guys can see here, we're doing about 240 down these main straights here. We're on the out lap, 243 as we're topping out. You want to hug the inside line as much as you can. Just want to turn all the way in. As we're getting about 235 here down in the straights here. This is very, very fast, and I guarantee you this car setup is so fast here, guys. This setup will work here for you guys so many times. We set a 235.29, which is extremely fast here. And as you guys can see, I'm not dropping anything below 230 mile an hour. Because the car setup is so fast in the corners that you'll have ultra stability in the corners here. This car setup here makes your car go so fast. It helps it out a hell of a lot in the corners and the handling. This will help you out. Get on there for Indianapolis when you're here on the season mode. This will help when you have those 4 qualifying runs.
This is your last qualifying
So we set a 235.89. Right, as we're trying to beat a 38.154 here. So we drop a little speed there. That will cost us dearly here coming into the main back straight away, but it shouldn't sacrifice much. And like I said, you have the weight jacket down 6, you have it down 6 notches, you have it down 6, and that will help a hell of a lot. So put the weight jacket down 6. This will help in the corners. We come down here for the final run, and we get a 38.193. So our best run was that first lap there.
That run puts you in second.
So we get second place behind Gilda Farron, with Gilda Farron putting in an incredible 236.303, which is just absolutely nuts. Which is just absolute nuts and crazy in my mind. Very, very difficult time to beat. Very, very hard to beat, and very, very difficult. So as we get here into the race here, guys, I'm only doing a 10-lap race, so I'll most probably be pitting in on lap 3 here. So we're running through the grid here. We got Gilda Farron, myself, got Scott Dixon, Tony Kanan, as we're letting the grid roll through here, guys. Hope you guys definitely do enjoy this this race and that here. This will be a very short race and that, and yeah. So hope you guys enjoy this race here. Getting into here, run this down here. This track is very fast on high end, top speed and that. You will run a lot more faster times here with the AI. You will keep up with them, I guarantee you that. Gearing is totally weird here for some reason. They run very weird. They run their own setup here, which is very, very weird how they run it. I do not know why, but they run a very weird car setup here. So you put the weight jacket down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put that down on your right thumbstick. So we come near Gilda Farron here. Got Scott Dixon, Tony Kanaan here behind us here. Not usually I'm able to qualify up on the front row of the grid here. And Scott Dixon comes in and we're going to have a free wide start, which is a little bit crazy here. It's a little bit crazy. We can't squeeze in there to turn 1. We have to downshift here in the 4th. We'll let the auto shift get back down in the 4th here. We're getting the car set up here. We got the car set up done, so time to kick back and enjoy the racing here. There'll most probably be a caution period in this 10-lap race. Dan Weldon's already made his way up in the 5th place. Can you believe that? Oh, and Tony Kanaan. Oh, I almost get squeezed out by Scott Dixon there. But he's not going to be shoving me out that much here. Looks like we got Scott Sharp here. He's trying to battle back there for 5th place. And like I said, guys, once the AI gets on you, they're on you here like a packet of crackers, and it's very, very fast here. You can see that the setup here, it's a lot more stable in the corners. It's very, very smooth. The qualifying is set to be extreme grip and speed. Right, so Scott Dixon here, you can see that even running the fuel mix at 4, the car will still beat up. The car will still build up a hell of a lot of top speed, and that's because you're running the wings so low that it's just making up for all that top speed. But you'd lose with the default car set up here, so as we get a bit of a draft here on Kanaan on the back of him, which we're not doing too bad. Alright, I have to adjust the weight jacket up just by 1. If you feel that the car is getting too loose in the corners, be more than free to lift it up 1 or 2. Just if you have the weight jacket up, you're going to get so much sacrifice down there. So Gilda Farron and Tony Kanaan, all those guys are in there risking it, so we're going to risk staying out on the pit stop here.
Best lap so far. Your fuel is low. You should pit next lap.
So we're going to risk on pitting on lap 4 and seeing how this pays off for us here. So we're going to see how this pays off here. So we want the fuel in for 6 laps here. We want him for 6 laps, so I'll put him for 8 or 9, just so that we have enough fuel to burn. So just about a qualifying run of fuel here. Right. So we took the gamble and we tried to undercut the AI.
You are 14 seconds ahead of the Farron.
So we took the gamble here. Right, so we want him for 8. So we want him for 877 laps here. Want the tyres changed here. Right, so we're taking a big gamble here, seeing where this pays off here for us. Because as you can see, that all the AI is already out of the track, so by the time we come back out, we get a very clean, nice, sharp pit stop there because we're on the marks. So it all comes down to where Gilda Farron and Tony Kanaan and Scott Dixon and Unser comes out, because this will be very close. So we put that fuel mix all the way up. They should be coming down around the main corners now any minute now in turns 1 and 2. And I think that the undercut has worked. Yes, we have absolutely undercutted the AI to perfection here, guys. And Gilda Farron here is absolutely hopeless in having any chance in getting us whatsoever. We are miles in front. They'll be carrying a ton of corner speed because our tyres are already up to temperature. But that is what happens when you overcut the AI and they go in, because they all get held up because they're all shunted behind one another in the pits there. So as we're getting our tyres here up to temperature, Gilda Farron will have a ton of momentum and the speed rolling on with him. But the one thing that we got rolling for us right now is that we're on fresh tyres. we got a very light load of fuel, and we got the fuel mix all the way up. So this will be paying off for us here and for the final few laps. There could be a caution period, you never know. Because generally there is a caution period after the pits with AI out and those cold tyres.
4 seconds ahead of the apparent.
So as we're doing about 231 here through that corner. So I'm pretty sure that we got first place here, sealed, deal and delivered. This car setup is so fast. But just be in note that you will end up destroying the AI here in terms of top end speed. They will not be able to keep up with you when you have your fuel mix completely maxed out like this here. This setup is very, very quick, and it is very, very stable, and it is very good to use. Very good to use here, and like I said, it is completely different to what your normal typical Indianapolis car setup would be like if you were to try and set it up yourself. So as we almost run outside there into the wall, backed off and followed there just enough. Backed off and followed there just enough so we had enough room there to do it. So we come here with 3 laps to go. We got a nice steady lead against the Farron. We're about 2.3 seconds ahead of him. Herder, Brack, Mira, Rice, Fisher, Franchitti, Giovanni was Foyt, Ray, Barron, Tony Renner, and Carpenter and Taylor, and that's the other half of the field. So 2:33.46 is our best lap. You see there, I slightly have to back off from the corners there. Be careful into that final corner, because when your tyres do deteriorate in these very quick 10-lap races, it will become very, very hard to do that. I thought I might do a 10-lap sprint on here because it would make it more easier here for myself here to do it. Generally, this track is very easy for me. I like the challenge of having to race more of those harder races to do, but I guess that this race will do here. And I guess this will wow people a hell of a lot because this car setup is very quick. And Payne, this car setup is very quick as well, man. I definitely suggest you use this next time you're doing a race. This takes a hell of a lot of getting used to. And basically my technique, Payne, if you want to know, or if anyone here really wants to know here with it, I just hold down the throttle as much as I can. I just get the thumbstick and I turn it all the way in, and I hold it there the whole entire time, and you do not back off the throttle. Sometimes you want to, depending on what track it is and how tight the corners are, but most of the time it's just carrying the speed into the corner and carrying the speed out. And generally most of the time you want to be taking the inside line here at Indianapolis. You want to be taking that inside line and feeding it outside so you can line yourself up when you approach the next corner. So there you go, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like. Make sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to comment and subscribe to my channel for more IndyCar series content. I promise you guys I'll be doing an upload in the middle of this week. And here it is, guys. Yeah, Payne, can't wait for that Phoenix race, man, at round 2. There, your little series video. It was great chatting with you on the live stream. Fantastic time to hang out with you. And keep up the good work, man. In return, these are my setup videos that I'm giving to you and the rest of the world to view. So, so like I said, like, comment, subscribe, and and I'll leave those ride heights for the qualifying and race in the imperial measurements at 2 point or whatever. And this is King Viper 199, guys, and I'll see you guys for the next car setup video, which will be sometime between now and next week. Alright, guys, peace out and have a good one.